in celebration of having finished my report cards for the year, decided to take a break from the children's lit and talk about a different book. And it's a book that I've found. It's a beautiful book. It's called Peace is Every Step by Thich Nhat Hanh, and The Path of Mindfulness in Everyday Life. And it's basically a collection of mindfulness activities or stories that can reorient your mind back to kind of a mindful, aware state, and about the beauty of that state and the simplicity and clarity, openness that comes along with it. So especially living in a big city like I do, this is a state that's hard to sometimes hard to usually hard to maintain, but can sometimes even be forgotten completely. So this is one of the ways that I think that we can recontact it is through things like this. So there's a poem at the beginning that written by in the foreword, written by one of Thich Nhat Hanh's students, and I don't know if he wrote it, if Thich Nhat Hanh wrote this, but he's quoted as having read it on a trip. Peace is every step. The shining red sun is my heart. Each flower smiles with me. How green, how fresh all that grows. How cool the wind blows. Peace is every step. It turns the endless path to joy. So, I guess that kind of sums it up. The simplicity, the attention to the beauty that's going on all around us all the time. And I guess it's also a call to return to that awareness. So one of the, actually I guess this is kind of connected to teaching, in that there's one of my favorite passages, and the passages none are longer than 2 or maybe 3 pages, dealing with different topics about breathing or how to transform maybe negative mind states, etc. So, but one of the ones that I really like is called the Tangerine Meditation, and I have a prop for this. Just a sec. Okay, so here is the Tangerine Meditation. So I just like to read just this part to you. Tangerine Meditation. If I offer you a freshly picked tangerine to enjoy, I think the degree to which you enjoy it will depend on your mindfulness. If you are free of worries and anxiety, you will enjoy it more. If you are possessed by anger or fear, the tangerine may not be very real to you. One day I offered a number of children a basket filled with tangerines. The basket was passed around, and each child took up one tangerine and put it in his or her palm. We each looked at our tangerine, and the children were invited to meditate on its origins. They saw not only their tangerine, but also its mother, the tangerine tree. With some guidance, they began to visualize the blossoms in the sunshine and in the rain. Then they saw petals falling down and the tiny green fruit appear. The sunshine and the rain continued, and the tiny tangerine grew. Now someone has picked it, and the tangerine is here. After seeing this, each child was invited to peel the tangerine slowly, noticing the mist and the fragrance of the tangerine, and then bring it up to his or her mouth and have a mindful bite, in full awareness of the texture and taste of the fruit and the juice coming out. We ate slowly like that. Each time you look at a tangerine, you can see deeply into it. You can see everything in the universe in one tangerine. When you peel it and smell it, it's wonderful. You can take your time eating a tangerine and be very happy. It makes me smile. It's like, it's the simplicity of a child almost. When you talk to kids, and that's a sentence a child could write. You can take your time eating a tangerine and be very happy. And it's true. So basically, I think that's the point of the book. It's a path of mindfulness in everyday life. Another one talks about how we can use things like the telephone ringing to reorient ourselves, so that when we hear the phone ring, the first ring is kind of like a bell, and that allows us to kind of come back to that state and then answer the phone, kind of from that place of calm and hopefully somewhat friendly, if not joyful. And I think there's so many different ways of getting all caught up in all sorts of ways of understanding our mind states and things like that. But my teacher just gave a talk on a podcast about the idea of the arrow. It's like you get hit with an arrow, and now the arrow of suffering, and it's in you. And you can start looking at what the arrow's made of, and what color it is, and which direction it came from, and who shot the arrow, and did they mean to shoot the arrow at me, and what does that mean? Or let's read some books about arrows. But really what you want is you want to pull the arrow out. And I think even people who are spiritual or interested in understanding themselves, and you can kind of get caught up in what's the point, and I think ultimately for me anyway, it's is it useful? Is it going to help me feel better? Is it going to help me to overcome suffering or to leave suffering behind? If it's just to understand the suffering and it's not going to get me away from it, then it's not so interesting. Anyway, so that's my plug for this book. It's just, sometimes simple advice is the best, or it can be just as powerful. So, yeah, hope you check it out. Thanks.